welcome back to my channel, and I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. The time has come on the homestead to collect the olives once again, and if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that last year was the first year that I collected the olives, and I had a great time. I really truly enjoyed the experience, even though it was mega hard work. You may also remember that I said the only thing I would have changed about the experience would be to pick by hand, because with the noise of the machinery, it wasn't a very sociable experience. You couldn't chat, you couldn't listen to music, and I had this dream of having a load of friends around and being able to picnic under the olives, etc., etc. Well, all I can say is be careful what you wish for, because unfortunately this year there's a massive crisis in terms of olive production in this region, and not just olives, other produce too, because we had such a hot and dry summer that most trees don't have any olives at all. I've already been around to examine the trees, of course, and it looks like out of about 100, I've got 10 bearing fruit. So it's a pretty serious situation, not necessarily for me because I'm not relying on the income from sales of olive oil, but for others it definitely is crisis situation. I'm just hoping to make enough to last me for cooking for this year and to hopefully be able to gift some to friends and family. I've spoken to a few people in the village who say they remember not so long ago, I'm talking only 10 or 15 years ago, that they used to pick the olives in November and often surrounded by snow. So things have really changed in the past decade. First of all though, I know I need to fuel my body, so I'm going to go to the bar and go and have a hearty, stodgy breakfast, and then I'll get started and of course take you along with me. Right, I've fueled up and I've had a little chat with some of the locals about how their olive harvest is going and got some little tips, which is always really handy. So I thought I'd show you what my essentials are for the olive picking period. So obviously I've got a bottle of water because even though it's fairly mild, it's about 24 degrees. Obviously it's quite heavy work. So I've also got some little snacks. These are just incredible. I think you can get them in the UK under the Cadbury's brand as well. And then I've been to get some little, oops, nearly dropped them, some little forks to obviously rake off the olives by hand. I've got some good gloves, which undoubtedly I'll get too hot and sweaty and end up taking off after about half an hour, but I am trying to protect my hands because it's not something I'm very good at. And then normally I'd also have eye protection, but obviously I'm not sure I need it doing it by hand. We'll see how we get on. And then this is one of my absolute essentials. I've got my little Roberts speaker. I love Roberts products anyway. I love the little vintage look about them, and I do have a couple of their vintage radios as well. But I have put together a playlist and I cannot wait to listen to it because I'm one of those people who needs sound on in the background all the time. It's one of the reasons I love YouTube. I have it on all day when I'm by myself, and even when I go to sleep at night I have the sound of either rain or a hoover. I just love white noise, and if it goes off in the middle of the night then I wake up instantly, so I'm very reliant on having background noise. And music is one of those things that really motivates me as well. So if the right song comes on and I'm feeling a bit down and a bit tired, it will definitely perk me up. So that's coming with me. I'll also take my headphones just in case this runs out of battery, but I have fully charged it. Also, one other thing I should have mentioned is that I've got my Santo Diego t-shirt on, so hopefully he's going to protect me from having any accidents once I have to go up the ladder, but I'm going to start on the bottom branches for sure. I'm going to be starting with the trees that have the most olives, which will obviously be the most work. First of all, I'll do the bottom ones, and then when my partner arrives back from work, I will do the top ones on a ladder because I don't really want to be having any accidents while I'm by myself. Right, I've only done one plant, but so far I am absolutely loving the manual method. Sorry if you can't hear me very well. I've already lost my microphone, and every time I think I found it, it's just an olive, so I apologise for the wind sounds. But I really enjoy the fact that I can get to every single olive, and given that there aren't many this year, every single olive counts, so that's amazing. Also, using the machine does do quite a bit of damage to the plant itself, so this is much less aggressive. And also, if you watched my video last year, and if not, I will link it, you have to spend a lot of time picking out some of the big leaves and branches that inevitably collect with the olives, and although there's a machine that cleans them, you do have to get the big bits out. So I'm saving loads of time by not having to do that because it's very precise, obviously doing it by hand. The gloves didn't last, can't help it, sorry. It's just easier to do it with your bare hands. And I'm already too hot, so I'm probably gonna have to change, but so far, so good. Just look at these for some lovely empty branches. I know that won't excite most people, but last year I noticed when we used the machine, there were quite a few olives still left on the branches. And then on top of that, when you have the nets overlapping and then you move them, we lost quite a few in the gaps. So, hello, baby. So yeah, definitely more precise. I'm sure some BDI viewer is going to tell me now that you can spot some I've missed. I do have an audience other than the dog. The pigs are absolutely desperate to come out and see what's going on, but I know that with one foul swoop, they'll have that crate of olives over and eaten. And that's why you can't come out, guys. You're too naughty. We have another escapee desperate to see the olive harvest. Stopping to give you a quick update, and I think I've completely underestimated how long it's going to take to pick by hand, even though there aren't many trees with fruit. So I'm only on the second plant so far and I still haven't filled up a whole crate, so this is taking a while. And it's also absolutely boiling, even dressed as I am now. Where I've got my wellies on, my legs are sweating. It definitely feels like proper bikini weather, but it is the middle of the day, so I guess this is the hottest part of it. So it's almost getting dark now, so I'm just doing the last bits and pieces, and I've come up onto the roof to do some of the bits behind that you can't reach with the ladder, and it's incredible out here. Let me show you the views. Okay, we are done for the day. I am scratched and bruised and aching all over, but very happy. I managed to pick around 40 kilos of olives in the end, almost single-handedly, so I'm quite pleased with that, although last year I think at the end of day one we'd done at least double that. But it was really nice to just listen to music and enjoy the scenery and just even enjoy just feeling the plants. I don't know, that sounds a bit woo-woo, but just being that in touch with nature was just such a nice experience, and it felt very tranquil. So today I did the less aesthetic area, let's say. It's where the animals are kept, but tomorrow we'll be in the actual olive grove, which will be really nice because I'll be able to show you some beautiful scenery. For now, I think I'm going to have a shower and then eat. Definitely not going to cook today, just going to eat some leftovers and then start again tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the olive harvest. I've woken up to a beautiful day today. The forecast says 26 with a gentle breeze, which is just perfect. I unfortunately have loads of work calls on this morning, so I've only got the afternoon free to do my picking, and I'm a little bit worried because I spoke to the olive presser yesterday and he said unless I manage to collect another 60 kilos, there's probably no point in pressing the olives I have. So time is definitely against me, and also I just know that the other trees that I haven't picked yet are much less full than the ones I did yesterday, so keeping everything crossed that I managed to reach another 60 kilos. I'm a little bit achy today, but really psyched to get back out there, so let me go and shower, have breakfast and get my work out of the way so I can then take you with me.
Ci mettiamo sotto.
Right, I ended up having to work a lot longer than planned, so time is definitely not my friend today. I'm going to get straight out there. It's looking really hot, so I've got my comfy play suit on and my high-heeled wellies just to give me a little bit of a boost. You know I love my high-heeled wellies. Now, I'm hoping you can tell from the video that these trees are much less full than the ones I picked yesterday. So some even have one side with branches with the olives on, and then the other side has nothing at all. It turns out it's much more than just a gentle breeze today, which is fine for picking, but I can't really film too much of what I'm doing because obviously my tripod won't stay upright. But I imagine it gets boring pretty quickly watching me pick olives anyway, so you're not missing out. Right, the wind has died down a bit now, so I've stopped for some lunch. If you watched my video last year when I did the harvest, you'll know that my mum was here helping, which was lovely. But even more amazing is that she's a fantastic cook and she had a hearty, warming, comforting, fueling meal ready for us at lunchtime every day. So that was something to look forward to. This year she's not here, but I still wanted to make sure I wasn't stressed about cooking something hot at lunchtime, which is what we normally have. We normally have pasta and then a second of meat or fish. So I did a couple of things this year to prepare to give myself the best chance of having a stress-free day. And I'm going to show you now one of the things that I did. You may remember from a few videos ago that we cleaned up the antique wood-fired oven in the outdoor kitchen, and we thought this would be the perfect opportunity to try making some bread in it. So I'm super excited about my picnic that I've packed. I've got the last of this year's tomatoes and onions in here with last year's olive oil to make a little salad. And then I've got some prickly pears, which I haven't tried yet, but they were an absolute bugger to pick. They are very spiny, so I'll let you know if they're worth it or not. And then in here, I've got some of that wonderful freshly baked bread, which I'm going to have with just a little bit of prosciutto and my tomato salad. And then this is obviously something I haven't harvested, but my absolute all-time favourite Kinder product, Kinder Fetta Latte. If you get the chance to try these and they sell them in your country, please do. So I'm just going to sit here and enjoy my picnic for a little bit. you, I am done, and I only managed to fill another 2 crates instead of 3, so I'm a little bit disappointed about that. I mean, last year we had so much oil that we sold a load and were able to actually go on holiday with the funds from that, so that definitely won't be happening this year, and I doubt I'll even make enough to last me for just my own cooking and seasoning, etc. But we have to just accept that you can't control nature, and that's one of the beautiful parts of it, and it was the experience that counts after all. So I'm just going to go and get changed. We're going to take the olives to be pressed at the same place I went last year, so I will take you with me, and then I have one more thing to show you that I did in advance to prepare myself for this moment. And so begins the wonderful process of making olive oil. First of all, the olives are weighed, and then they get loaded into this machine which takes out any of the big leaves and branches and then washes them thoroughly. Some leaves still get through, so the olives then go through this grill system which will catch any bits and pieces that shouldn't be there. And then the olives are pressed gently using a centrifugal system, which means that they don't need to use a great deal of heat, which could damage the flavour, and the olive oil can filter out through the mesh at the bottom. It's the moment of truth. I finally get to try my 2024 olive oil. I've just got some in a plastic cup here, and it's supposed to be tested around 28 degrees, which is not quite in here, so I'm just going to warm it up for a second in my palms. Now you can smell it from quite a distance, so I think it's got quite intense fruit flavours. Wow, it's got a really peppery kick right at the end. It hits the back of your throat just as you finish swallowing. Really, really delicious. I would say probably slightly better quality than last year. Obviously, quantity's not so much. But now I'm desperate to try it with that fresh bread. Right, on to the second thing I told you that we prepared in advance so that I could enjoy the end of the olive harvest. We have this beautiful space in the garden which was very much underused and has this amazing canopy of foliage that covers this metal structure. And I thought it would be the perfect place to put a hot tub to relax in after a hard day on the homestead. So we started by erecting 100 meters of fairy lights, and then we created a boundary for the hot tub and filled it with a load of sand to level out the ground a bit. Then we laid down some heavy duty polystyrene sheets and covered them with some synthetic grass to be So manual versus using machinery turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful experience. It was definitely less tiring in terms of the physical demand because obviously the electronic rake device is very heavy and you have to hold it above shoulder level the whole time. So definitely less achy and physically demanding in that way, but in some ways it was more physically demanding because doing it by hand you have to kind of contort yourself into some very difficult, uncomfortable positions, and obviously looking up all the time at the top of a ladder trying to reach the ones that were really high. So definitely still felt the after effects of it, but overall probably a little bit less tiring. Also, I found that when the wind really picked up, we would have had to completely abandon the olive harvest if we were using machinery, because you'd have all the nets down on the floor and all the olives would be blowing off the nets. Plus, as you move the nets, you do lose quite a few olives in between as well. So I felt like I managed to actually conserve as many olives as possible doing it by hand. Speaking of which, you probably want to know how much I made in the end. So bearing in mind last year I made 120 litres, I think. I was quite disappointed this year to only make around 10, a massive drop, and it probably will just about last me for doing things like frying the onions for the pasta sauce and seasoning my salads. But the thing I'm most sad about is that I won't have any left at all to give to family and friends. And last year I sent some to one of my YouTube viewers who's been watching from the beginning and he really enjoyed it. So I'm sorry, Gigi, I won't be able to send you any this year, but thank you so much for all your support over the last year and a half that I've been running this YouTube channel. The weather is still absolutely beautiful here, so a lot of people have started doing their olive harvest today, and have to say driving around seeing everyone with their nets down has made me quite envious, and I must be a glutton for punishment because I'm offering to everyone to go and help them with theirs as well. I just can't get enough of it for some reason. I'm going to leave this vlog here, but thank you so much for watching, and please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. I've done some basic channel analysis now, and I think on my last video over 90% of people who watched it weren't subscribed, so please do that and hit the bell button so you get notifications. I'd also love to hear about the olive oil situation where you are, if you're also harvesting olives, and whether it's as bad as it has been in this region. So do leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. See you again soon. Bye.